Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Won't you tell us that you okay? Zamane, are you okay? Zamane, are you okay? You okay, Zamane? Are you okay? Zamane, are you okay? Are you okay, Zamane? Zamane, are you okay? Zamane, are you okay? Are you okay, Zamane? Zamane, are you okay? Zamane, are you okay? Are you okay, Zamane? Won't you tell us, Zamane, are you okay? Won't you tell us that you okay? Ah. um. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, dude. That'll be some shit. You was drinking water, right? You've been drinking water your whole life. You feel me? Even adding your own flavor to water, and someone be like, "What are you doing?" And you like, "I'm drinking water." You're like, "That's not water. Here, try this." That'll be some shit. That'll be some shit. You like, "I'm drinking water." You're like, That's not water. Try this." Like, try this. And you know that they said that's not water. You feel me? Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if people think people's too prideful to ask questions. I'm just saying, like, I'm funny. I just don't like the feeling of I'm sensing, like, I'm just chilling, right? Doing what I do. And I'm sensing this soap opera, but there's no action in the soap opera. I don't want to. You can't give me that role if there's no action in it. You cannot sign me up to a soap opera with me not being the protagonist. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. I'm saying, okay. Well, where's the part where I came for the jungle? Oh no, I'm just gonna complain the whole time. Yeah, you just gonna. Huh. Alright. Around my city when I come home. So yeah, I did jokes 101. Jokes started because we gotta think about war. When did we able to joke with people? You feel me? Just follow this director trying to put me in a soap opera. You feel me? We gonna laugh when he laugh. We start as spirits. This is the jokes. We start as spirits. You feel me? This is everything they leave out of the goddamn movie. We start as spirits. Okay. What the fuck is talking? You feel me? Don't worry about that. Life been going on for eons, ages, but high story repeats itself. You feel me? What the fuck is attendant to a hair? You feel me? What the fuck than your family teach if they're school? If they're school. Who owns police departments? You feel me? Why are we organized but don't know our ancestors? You feel, that's a big part of the guy. You feel, I'm like, well, where's the fighting? Where's the fighting in the soap opera? You feel me? No one's not gonna watch it if it's not nothing to deal with the beginning of time, a story to explain who's talking, and the respect for the leaders of talking. You feel me? No one's gonna want to hear it if it doesn't show the high history repeating itself. Because then they're gonna be like, okay, this director is just trying to get even with somebody. And how, you feel me? You know how people be like, you know how they be talking about porn and shit like that, and they be like, all right, I need you to get naked. Oh no, the money's gonna come. Okay, so you feel me? No, you feel me? Like I said, no action. What the fuck is attendant to a hair? You feel me? No story, no explaining. You feel me? Because that it don't have to be goddamn swinging action pack. It can just be a climax of showing that a tenant is hired by a hair. So where's the hospitality? You feel me? What the fuck did your family teach if they're school? You feel me? So where's the school in the whole movie? Who owns police departments? You feel me? Are we just gonna go inside of a dungeon? You feel me? Why are we organized but don't know our ancestors? You feel me? Like, that's what movies are about. Ancestral path. So you feel me? It's either people's making a movie or a porno. So it's either someone's making a movie that can sink the world, or trying to get over on somebody and thought learning stuff and playing with someone's ignorance would be fun. Okay, what the fuck is an energy field? You feel me? That's the main thing in the movie, because the movie. You feel me? I really don't like when people try to tell me the vibe of my video, but yeah, what is the energy field? So, the movie Deadpool was 4D, you feel me? And certain other cartoon movies had that 4D Looney Tune type thing to it. But every movie has it. It's just, you feel me? That's the hospitality and the security behind the movie. So if an action-packed movie, you feel me? That's why I say it's like, I'm hearing about that I'm gonna be neutralized. That's what I'm hearing about. I'm just keep hearing about me being neutralized. I'm going to go through everything and be neutralized. And I'm like, that's not a movie that I want to play a role in. You feel me? I would not took Fatal Attraction if that was a goddamn neutralizing movie. You feel me? Or an hour show. You feel me? And I'm famous on Fatal Attraction. I had the best episode. You feel me? You can only stare at the camera. Don't stare at. You? Oh yeah, you. You can do what you do. Make sure you just look at the camera. We don't want to be blamed for no one getting in trouble with the CIA. They not. They say you one of the people. You do what you do. Yeah, so Chris Tucker, my cousin. Yeah, you feel me? It was an energy field. So Deadpool, superhero movies have this thing like they're talking to all the criminals. You feel me? So people inside of the movie theater or watching the movie now. You feel me? Like I said, do what you do type shit. They can watch the movie and, you feel me, play their role of hinting You feel me? That's how the reality video game work, and how the FBI come in. You know, movie theater kickouts are fast and unseen and shit. Like, you feel me? It's a game. You feel me? A musical chairs type game, but not really not really. But yeah, energy field. So 1D, respecting energy. 0D, you knew what you was getting into. 2D, respect the outlines of the movie. 3D, respect the story, the empty canvas story, and what people, the clout that's in the movie, when anybody can get their own picture from art. So watch what they say the movie is about at the end of the movie. You feel me? And Inception was about avoiding that. Shut the fuck up when I'm talking. You feel me? What does that mean? You feel me? The world is peaceful without y'all. I would've. I don't think you do. That's my money. I'm a voodoo doll. You don't listen, that's why. That's my power. That's my power control. Deja vu. Don't nobody see how stupid I look but you. Hurry up. It don't matter, you're in first place. You still lose. Clout. Hey, little child, let me whisper in your ear. All that happened when you get arrested. There's none of that. I'm just, I'm just somebody that want to get off work. A cloud of people. We are water that solidifies and started as air. High story. Multidimensional that our ancestors chill on another dimension, conscious with an ancestor. Someone's trying to trap on you. Why I'm known to no cross, back streets and front streets, multidimensional move like I was the royalty. People saw I had humidity choppers like most drug dealers, Tesseract. Whatever about. You feel me? So in the end, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to talk to the director that sees that if you feel me, I guess it's a little harsh, you feel me, but it doesn't look harsh on y'all side. But if y'all die, I can do what I want. So I'm trying to talk to the director, because it's just like, it's just a goddamn movie, right? You feel me? It's just a movie. If I get out the movie, I can do it. But I'm in this movie about to lay back down. You feel me? The world, you feel me? The world's been past 2020 before. Coronavirus been out before. You feel me? But in the movie, this is the first time coronavirus has been out, but we can say coronavirus has been out before. You feel me? We know history repeats itself, because high story repeats itself. Time's been past 2020 before, because people do all that energy in BC and AD. And yeah. But I can't talk, but I'm radiating that I know a lot of technology. I know the humidity control. People don't know the humidity control like I do, but they know of the people that have humidity control. You feel me? And I'm one of them. So part of the soap opera, part of the drama is me wanting to help people, but no one wanting my help. So I don't do none of the advanced hospitality of help. And people watching, you feel me, all the advanced things I could do to discharge debt, you feel me, no one listens to, and then they be like, okay, so now where are you gonna go, because we the bootleg tenants and the hairs aren't gonna show up to be like, wait a minute, you didn't have no bills from me to pay, so why did you leave? You feel me? That would be some crazy. That's what I would tell my kid. Like, if my kid is in the house and tenants are in the house, and you know they cause damage in the house, so they have to pay bills. You feel me? And the tenant goddamn tells my kid, like, all right, we gotta go. You feel me? First, or you know, if my kids got rid of the tenants and just is on another plane, following them walk out because they don't want to walk out after they say they're not gonna pay the bills, I would be like, wait a minute, so what you talking like? What you talking like that for? You feel me? I'm like, wait, why did you walk out that goddamn house? Y'all get what I'm saying? This movie don't make no goddamn sense. In reality, it's not how it go. So this movie, you feel me, it don't make sense, okay? Because if the owner comes here, you feel me, the only reason why the owner does not goddamn show up door to door is because they have tenants, you feel me, workers, and security. If people don't listen, if they're not gonna do the security themselves, you feel me, because you feel me, they're gonna have to, if it's their house, they're gonna have to get people out their house, you feel me. So you know, one kid, you feel me, this is what the movie like. Somebody is I'm gonna say it both ways. So it's somebody, you feel me, two kids of the owners or two hairs of the owner is paying bills, but they only cleaning up the work that the owner kicked the people on the lower plane out for not wanting to pay bills, and they beat their ass in the way that they you feel me, paid the bills, but the hairs took the money and came in as tenants. And then there's one hair in there that's like, well, tenants are not even, if you didn't damage anything and the owner doesn't care, then you feel me. So you know, the hair's still working like the tenants, so then they like, well, we gonna leave, you feel me, and then they go up to the hair and they like, you gotta leave too, and it's just like, the hair don't want to go through this whole stupidity of saying why, and so then the owner come and is like, why did you leave the house? And there's a bunch of criminal people in the background trying to tell the hair what to say. Okay, and another way is the owner shows up, and the owner can't even get in his own crib and land because people is trying to take over the land, and shoot and fight. But, you know, a professional cheat way to do it was take out the tenants that you gave the contract to, and then act like, and then watch Harris do the tenant work that you was just doing. You feel me? And then they're giving money to your, you feel me, to your land. Like, they paying the bills that the tenants were supposed to, but it was the tenants. It was, you feel me? Their money. They had to pay for their damage. So you feel me? They said they wasn't gonna pay the damage. So on some Superman shit, you beat their ass and gave the money to your heirs while they play out. And then, you feel me, they talking about where we at with it, you feel me, on some, and it's just some shit like, I'm the captain now type shit. And then, you feel me, doesn't change whoever's the owner is, you feel me, because they always gonna say the owner is gonna sound cocky by claiming to be the owner, even if the owner never derogatory said out loud they're the owner, which is what they've been running with, to be like. And got to a point that the owner did and stuff, so now it's a soap opera and hood drama. And then the day comes and people's at the crib. No, people's like, we leaving before that. We already got another, and it's just like the owner is just like, and he don't want to talk because he sees once again the criminals in the background trying to say, when he come with this fact, come with these facts. So they come with those facts, you feel me? And then the owner's just like, well, that doesn't matter, you feel me? And they still coming with the facts, and then it's just like, so now, because the owner sees the big problem, he just walk out his own crib. And then the same people that told him to come with the facts, and the owner was, you feel me, getting rid of those people on another plane, is still following them on another plane. You feel me? That's where we at with it. So, you know, that don't make no goddamn sense. Move like people saw, humidity choppers like most. Someone please call 911, tell them I just shot my gun. Drug dealer Tesseract, big bank take little bank, blueprints of high story, but didn't talk. They rave about professionalism. It's the multi-dimensional. How the fuck do arrests work? Leaving the police department doesn't mean you're not still under arrest. Charges are more complicated. That's why probation don't make sense, to tell you the truth. You feel me? Probation is more of a way to get back in good with people. You feel me? Probation shouldn't be, oh, you fucked up, now you're on probation. No, that should be like, how can I, you feel me, make sure that I can make y'all know y'all can at least be more calm about me and trust me. You feel me? How can I make sure I can still get these jobs? You go on probation to make sure you can still get these jobs. You feel me? Changes are more complicated, so sophisticated than that. If you're arrested on a plane and classified, you're classified and arrested on every dimension. If you're a high-ranked chief, authority officer on a plane, you're the same on every dimension. If you have money on a plane, you have money in every dimension. You feel me? Let a nigga get money, and all I wanna do. Who's threatening the highest chief? Feel me? So that's another thing, you feel me? The director is saying there is no highest chief, but then that don't make no sense. So the next question is, why isn't there a high chief? You feel me? Because, you know, the movie that's getting shot right now just does not make sense. I'm just keeping it a thou wow. Like, that shit is very disrespectful to goddamn. Say you need to tie your shoes, and you don't tie your shoes because you know people gonna walk away from you. You feel me? So you know, they stand still, and you're like, all right, tie my shoe, and then they walk away. You feel me? That's just my, you feel me, poor man example. The real example is, you feel me? You could do many things for the people, but because you're in like a movie or in a clout, you feel me, and you keep telling people like, I can't do this at the moment, not because I don't know how, you feel me? And then, you know, knowing you're not telling the person, you want the person to ask, but you know, like I said, criminals is following and telling when he come with this, and people is like, look, we're being followed, so we understand. And then, you know, in my eyes, you know, I wouldn't do this to nobody. I would call him out. I would look crazy like, hey, what the fuck? I know he don't talk like that. You feel me? Like, I wouldn't let someone walk up on me and then I see they want to explain. You feel me? And it's obvious. You feel me? I'm gonna just keep motherfucking stating the goddamn obvious and tell them, shit, state the motherfucking obvious. I don't give a fuck. You feel me? And, you know, the person is glowing like, you don't have to state the obvious. I know it. And then they be like, you don't bring none of this shit. I wouldn't even goddamn be in this predicament if I knew I was about to be in a commotion about stating the obvious. You feel me? You feel me? As we listen to these people, you feel me? Because that shit is annoying. You feel me? Like, I be talking about this all the time. You feel me? Like, it's just so simple, man. It's simple as hell. So yeah, the Moviez is really bad because in the end, if I would write the movie, it would be like this. The world's multi-dimensional, right? I'll write the reality, you feel me? But you know, the world is multi-dimensional. There's a kid that never ever 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 from the beginning of time had someone lead them, but always thought about how someone would lead and took that as calling other people leaders from the respect that they would have led if they could have led. But the kid didn't have no one lead them and just used their imagination of how to lead and led all the way from the ancient BC AD and in those times, you feel me, organized humidity, but could sit from humidity, and you feel me, just slowly but surely, after jumping dimensions and planes and getting raved about as titles from Bonds and etc. You feel me, got to a generation where it's normal to rave about the person and not see them. So people start acting like they're not seeing the person, the glow, like that person. And you know, that's a long time you have to wait, you feel me? And it's just like, and that time repeated. So they're in a time where they think they can really glitch, like, because it's not the stop clock of the you feel me, of not talking about it. You feel me, of making sense. So, you know, in ancient time, they sipping humidity, they making sure their teeth is tough, to chip rocks, turn it, you feel me, not eat rocks, chip rocks, or break down rocks into a mineral to soften, add flavor, you feel me, melanin, you feel me, the kids started as a white man, melanated, you feel me, know the difference of the Rothschild and Rockefeller story, Code Red, Germany and Code Red, all of this, you feel me, eating when they want, smoking when they want, but since they never, ever, ever had a leader and they had to be their own leader, imagine what other people would be a leader like. All they did was crash dummy everything, you feel me? Make sure that there was a hospitality that if another leader comes about and they die, they have this whole instruction manual to be safe, and that's what that's all everybody talks about. Instruction, you feel me? They got instructions how to not kill themselves. Oh, you feel me? Not wonder, you feel me? And, you feel me? We come from, you feel me? People might not do it on purpose, but, you know, it's like someone not knowing how to drive and they drive into something, you feel me? And this person is like the first ancestor, so, you know, breaking through new intelligence, because, you know, being the first ancestor is like you have to, you feel me, who's gonna tell you what to do? You got that elderly, you didn't know, but that didn't mean you didn't understood what it would feel like for someone to tell you. And that's what later generations have as a checkpoint. And so the first ancestor of learning and seeing the world grow at a spontaneously speed, that, you know, when people be like the back streets, you know, you walk outside and you might have a kid, you feel me? Because, you know, to vibrate your body, you feel me, it's like a loop. So you might go to a frequency that you're living in your head, and now you looking at ladies down the street and shit like that, and the ladies live in their head too, and they're not really trying to finesse you, but it's just like you live in your head, you saying this is normal and shit like that, and they tell you to stop following them until you notice that you living in your head and you just walking around like a bum in the other realm, you feel me? And, you feel me, just to give a background. And, you feel me, some people don't care, so then they might just make a kid, and then you feel me, like they say, you walk outside and you have a kid. So, you know, to show you how spontaneous the world and time grows, you feel me? And, you feel me, in the movie, you feel me, the first ancestor, the kid that never had a leader but always imagined what leaders would be like, was so smart that he was on point with what leaders would be like. But it's also because of the teaching that was given, which was, you feel me, that kid's teaching itself how to be a leader, which you feel me, pendulum swinged what's happening. And like I said, so a glitch in the world of time traveling started coming about, but the kid knew that he was older than who they around, so he didn't show himself knowing how to control being on more than one plane. And until the kid got to the point of overstanding, like everybody's mature enough to have a general communication. The kid didn't come to the plane knowing that he was existing in the beginning of time before any other time relapsed it on a frequency that was slower or faster to be in tune, to be like, oh yeah, you feel me? People try to look at that kid as a museum, you feel me? Unlocked all things, like I said, getting talked about in the air. And when the time the kid feel like it's time to come to the world, people, you feel me? People's raving about the kid, but they're not respecting the glow of the kid when the kid comes to the world. So the kid comes to the world not wanting to talk because no one's respecting the glow of the kid, but seeing that everybody slick got a hint of the leadership. People's respecting the leadership. You feel me? People is just like, shit, that's the first goddamn ancestor. Some people is like, well, history repeats itself, and not everybody knows the real time of time, so he's just a regular person like everybody. And it's just like, well, you didn't have to say that to look at the person as a regular person. So yeah, so the kid is like I said, the kid is going through time and only waiting to come showing up at when it's enough to reconcile. Like, this man was alone by himself for a long time and unlocked everything. Like, he was sipping on humidity. And at this time, people go to a goddamn store of organized humidity. Because, you feel me, it's organized humidity. Why? You can put a cap on something, and when you open it, it's not a vacuum of sucking up nasty shit. You feel me? So it's and the kid's just like, whoa, this shit is articulate to my humidity, you feel me? So he sees his spot, and everybody's like, that's God's spot. And it's just like, bitch, I didn't tell you to call me God. You telling me now I can't get nothing to drink? You feel me? So this is why I say the kid waiting for the right time to come in. So yeah, so like, you feel me? Like I said, before everybody's just in oblivion, unlocked everything. Humidity, using humidity in the air isn't out the norm. You feel me? You pause, you feel me? Moment of silence. And he come to a world where the humidity is organized, and he sees he's slick a stock person, but wasn't using his stock. Just people was learning from how he was doing it, because like I say, he was a leader. Imagine how other people would be leaders if they exist. And you feel me? People trying to call him broke, and it's just like, this is all my teachings. How the fuck am I broke? So, the kid would pop a seal and, you feel me, eat some toothpaste or some shit. But people is watching hard as fuck because they just disrespecting the kid. They notice the kid is goddamn ancient, advanced, and the world uses him to stock up on things. And the kid is just walking around like, when these people start following me, then I'm gonna gold in my teeth. You feel me? Because what the kid usually do was, when a glitch happened, but the common sense was in the world to walk in from oblivion that he was living as the first ancestor, he would walk in, keep it, know that his teeth is in the mercury state. You feel me? And when the respect of even this would be a great movie, but yeah, how much respect out of clairvoyance of how in oblivion he could just vibrate and it echoes. You feel me? Off of that wavelength. That's how much he tightens up his teeth. So he goes to certain places. Sometimes he golds out his whole teeth. Sometimes he keeps his teeth in the mercury state, but white as hell. Sometimes you feel me? And people start catching on in those places, and then he came to a place of, I guess, a mirage of who's the teacher, because the kid never really cared to get respect for it. And then when he came here, he didn't gold his teeth out. He didn't even put them in a strong mercury state. You feel me? He saw life kept repeating itself. So he let one of his teeth fall out, but the one in the back, and then out of nowhere, life relapsed, and then they called that the wisdom tooth. And then after ages of that being called the wisdom tooth, and any tooth could fall out, that started being known as the baby tooth, because the wisdom tooth is the ancestor came and dropped the tooth off to say that people isn't respecting people's personal space. And that's where the tooth fairy came in, about respecting personal space. And then it relapsed again, but it became like a fiesta type, a spiritual fiesta type thing, that when you're a kid you can, and you know how to advance a lot faster, than it's okay to start with baby teeth. And kids start doing it unconsciously because they can sense the first, being attuned to the first ancestor. And the ancestor still walking around with his teeth ungold, like when it goes to like any other plane. And you feel me? The ancestor is just following the ropes of the next, you feel me, the next thing to get off the checklist. So when they went to certain spots, like when he was in oblivion and just was glowing like the sun of all the things he can do, you feel me, until it gets to that point, and people notice he's getting closer to that point. So they start approaching him, talking about, when are you gonna be somebody? And it's just like, it's like, you feel me, it's like looking in a rear view mirror, or looking, you feel me, looking in the window, because it is like you trying to tell them, like, you is full of my teachings and I can tell you something, but you want to cut me off. You feel me? Cognitive dissonance, and the excuse of seeing people have cognitive dissonance and seeing this person is somebody's, you feel me? That movie would be deep, you feel me? And you feel me? Because that shit is the worst when you was glowing like, if I could just get through this checklist, you feel me, I'll be goddamn straight, you feel me? So that's, and people can tell you just try to get through this checklist, you feel me? It's an ancient checklist, and you feel me, it's a lottery, and people pull up to you like, what are you doing? Or stuff like that, and it's just like, I'm sorry, I didn't come here to cause commotion. I was just, you feel me, I'm just doing my regular hunting skills from when I was in oblivion, and no one could tell me nothing. And so now people is thinking that I'm like the blunt people from the last generation, because they was walking around like no one could tell them nothing. But it's not that no one could tell me nothing. It's just I'm anciently known that I was never told anything. And but I'm smart, you feel me? That would be a great movie. And then a part of the movie, like every time people start noticing, like after another relapse, they start talking about imagination and planes. So now they be like, it matters how many planes, how many, you feel me, dimensions you got. And so they're like, oh, that guy is rich. And, you know, he's just ancient. He's like, so you feel me, after you get past all other alchemies, they just like, man, that guy is rich. He owns all those dimensions. He can call that person up with no problem. He can, you feel me? And he's just like, I've always been like this. You feel me? And now people trying to be like, yeah, he always been like this. We can act like he broke. We can steal his dimensions. We can ask him, let me go to your dimension. And they don't know, like, it's like first nature. If someone comes with an energy to finesse, he gonna put them in a dimension and kill them. And then have them standing there like they didn't just die. And they just keep doing it. And then they try to argue with him or have an attitude. And he's like, what's the attitude for? I thought you wanted to jump in a fighting game and die. What else would you test me? And everybody else is telling you, like, this nigga is ballistically fine with the shits. You feel me? Because, you feel me, the ancestor comments like, I see other guys that is known as killers in another dimension. They don't get tested. Why am I getting tested? And they say he's ass fire. You feel me? So now they trying to argue, but he is just like, so now he got a whole bunch of clout of people thinking they're going to get through the dimensions of his core. Because if they can get through his dimension core, then they can beat the other people that are cold. You feel me? That would be a great movie. That would be a great movie. And you know, in the movie, you just keep hearing about lies, like just lies in the air, and it's just like no one's expecting the person to stop lying. So in the void of knowing that he's not about to say none of them things, they walking around like they talking for him. Like, this man was living, the first ancestor was living in oblivion. You feel me? Just living in oblivion. So he sit down and he starts thinking of bored. And he's like, if these people don't stop fucking following me, they're like, I'm bored. Like he a video game or some shit. So then the ancestors get up and they start walking, and it's just like, and you feel me? In the end, they don't have to know him as the first ancestor, but they think knowing that that is the guy during that generation, you feel me, they can be oblivious to the teachings, because that's what they do with people to a teacher. Like, if a teacher is teaching, they'll be like, oh, fuck you, I don't care, you know how to teach me math. So they're like, oh, fuck you, I don't care that you know how the whole world came about. And it's just like, I didn't say I wanted to be a teacher, you feel me? But they just told you, they just echoing you the one that taught the whole world. And it's just like, I taught my goddamn self and just gave out little kudos advice in the atmosphere. I didn't goddamn say I wanted to teach the world. I just created things and then copyrighted it for people to be in the world and learn for themselves. You feel me? But people's like, oh, you taught them. I didn't try to teach them. I was a leader. That's what a leader is. You feel me? They try to talk to you and shit like that, and he's like, oh no, you taught them, and it's just like, all I did was be a leader for myself, and then copyright it for anybody that my leadership would have caused someone to try to finesse another person. You feel me? If they want to give me credit, then they want to give me credit. I'm not asking for the credit. And you feel me? In the end, before you knew I was that person, it was echoing in the atmosphere that someone's living in oblivion and time is going on and they're the oldest person in the world. Before you can confirm who is who, you had to respect everything. You had to respect personal space, etc. So what makes you think following someone that can still teach people is the smart thing? As you see what just happened. So yeah. So like I said, the ancestor was in oblivion where vibrating causes echoing, and this is goddamn loud as fuck. You feel me? About a lot of things, and it's just like I was saying in the beginning, like, okay, so where's the ancient teaching? Where's the ancient teaching? Where you just saying? You feel me? So yeah. See, and that's why I say I don't like when people they try to stink in my vibe, like, bitch. So yeah, so the first ancestor was by themselves for a long time. That it's just like, you know, when you have like a elder or older person, you can tell they need like a day to themselves. You feel me? But we talking about the first ancestor, goddamn. You feel me? The first ancestor, like, so the first ancestor, you feel me, is fucking glowing with, because in the end, elders had someone teach, and they teach through what the first ancestor taught, and the first ancestor was just in oblivion with no one to teach them, and had to goddamn fight the time continuum of learning that they had to vibrate faster, you feel me, or they would have been consumed in other times, and people would have been like, hey, you feel me, this is how the world goes and shit like that. And then, you know, you feel me. And the only reason they would have to tell him that is because he's consumed in a cloud of Let me pause real quick, because niggas is trying to plot. That shit whack. So yeah. So, you know, the first ancestor had to always speed up his whole oblivion, his whole ship, you feel me, his whole ship. And, you know, when times got very ancient or old, or if a time was mature enough to handle, the first ancestor showed up and just lived in the time as security all the way to, you feel me, a time like this where I say it doesn't have the real, no one can find the real age of time, but everybody knows time hasn't stopped. So niggas think they gangster by going by someone else's stop clock and not admitting the real time. And like I said, the first ancestor was just by themselves, smart as hell, but you know, it's not gonna hold nobody to their not gonna blurt out, I'll hold you to all the things you was following me by, because that's obvious. So, you know, it's just like on time, place, and day, then, you know, that's something to talk about. And boy, people stink. You feel me? The first ancestor would say that. So yeah, boy. So yeah, cause that shit is crazy, man. Someone talking about like you gonna die someday. What? I'ma die someday. You feel me? And you know, people that die is people that try to fight. You feel me? from the beginning, and the first ancestor was just there as like the derivative of God. You feel me? When people say the word God in the Bible, and you feel me? And in the movie, like I was saying, like all you see is like the first ancestor just learning all day, 24/7. And you feel me? It's hip as shit. You feel me? Cause it's his teaching. It's his teaching. So it's just like, oh, y'all guys like, okay, I could teach y'all this. You feel me? And then people that aren't really hip or slow learners or don't want to learn, but they know that if they was fighting people, they would have died by how fast others learn. And so, and they don't respect the first generation of ancestors of making that hospitality, that it's not about fighting no more. So you know, they throw fits and shit and try to get a whole alibi to talk about how they still want to kill people for no reason and act like they rule. And yeah, so the first ancestor is just chilling, come here, and unhip people start talking to him, and it's just like the first ancestor knows how sensitive the body is, like I said. So he knows how to, so they like, oh, he must be sensitive or she must be sensitive, and it's like, no, I know how to harden my skin, you feel me? And it's like, oh, he must be gullible because his teaching is everywhere. And it is like, I was just being a leader and copywriting everything I learned for the next person to learn, and you feel me, take their time. And they're like, oh, he must want to rob somebody because he's the first ancestor. And there's a lot of people walking around talking about they want to sip from God's cup, so they not gonna give the first ancestor the benefit to be able to walk in the store and do all his dimension work. You feel me? So he said, so the first ancestor will walk in the store, hit the owner up that cycled in. The owner will be like, yeah, we do this. Then hit up the next person under the owner and be like, yeah, that's how you pay shit. Yeah. And then hit the next, like, oh yeah, you heard from the owner? Hit the next person, like, oh yeah. Hit the next person up. And then when you get to the cashiers and shit, and you paid for the shit, but you didn't pick up nothing, they think they about to rob you, but they're giving the money back to you. So now you put them in a tesseract to be under care because you know that your presence causes like people to try to attack, and people try to attack. You feel me? After the people that you put under care try to attack, like you can't change the tesseract into a citizen arrest, and you gave them the money because you already know what you about to go in the store and get, and then you about to walk outside and they talking about you robbed the store, and it's just like, you feel me? The first ancestor is like, I just talked to everybody above you. Now, I just talked to everybody above you, and they told me this is how wealthy people pay for things. And then you called all the broke people and think that I didn't just go on another mission before I came here as the first ancestor of what I was doing when I was in oblivion, doing the same shit when people lie. So you feel me? That would be a scene in it. You feel me? Because in the end, they not even trying to hassle the first. They like, we wouldn't even know how to do this shit without you. So these people trying to go on a limb and start something with all the okays, like clairvoyance ain't real, and it's just like, you're talking about my teachings. What the hell is you talking? There wouldn't be a word if it wasn't real. So That would be one part of, you feel me, of people following the first ancestor. And, you know, they just trying to corner, and you feel me, the whole movie. Michael Jackson slick did a movie like that. The Moonwalker. The Moonwalker. That was slick what that was about. You feel me? Him being ancient. You feel me? Because then they tried to shoot him, and then he showed, like, what the fuck is blood? You feel me? Like, what the fuck is blood but melanin? So, you know, or you feel me? Spirit. You feel me? Concentrated spirit. Which is what melanin is, you feel me? Over concentrated spirit. And, you feel me? Another scene will be like the first ancestor. The first ancestor, just chilling and keep trying to tell these people, like, stop following me. And they're like, what is you talking about? And it's just like, you don't feel that? You feel me? And every time it keeps showing people, it's showing like the ancestor is a goddamn speedster. Like, he's not gonna come to a realm if he can't move faster than the seeing eye, but you can feel him. So, you know, you feel him slicing and dicing and telling people, stop following me, put yourself back together, stop following me and shit like that. And then, you know, it gets to a point where people keep talking about him walking around. So, you feel me, the ancestor, so someone says, you should go get a car. And he's like, a car? And, you know, like I was saying about movies, like how in the movie it'll have the energy field of people goddamn. It'll have the energy field of people trying to evade. Because, you know, who am I talking to, right? You feel me? Who am I talking to but the people that keep interrupting when I'm talking, right? So, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to tell people, y'all movies suck, alright? I'll make a great movie. And, you feel me? So, in the movie, they're talking about he should get a car, and he's like, a car? And then, you know, this person just saying get a car because he sees him walking. And like I said, you see the clout. You see all the people that anticipate watching the movie on another plane and dimension. And they try to make it look like he Tarzan or some shit. But Tarzan, he's the ancestor of Tarzan. So he get a car, and we only get a car because it makes sense for him to be the first ancestor and be a police. You feel me? Be a authority. You feel me? Because that's where the idea came from. So you feel me? The whole movie's about the first ancestor being in oblivion, and the world's been shifting and evolving and looping, and the first answer, like, you know how games will have you visit worlds, and you feel me? So yeah, that's what the movie gonna really be about. The first ancestor visiting the world is like games, and you feel me? And showing what it looked like, showing like how normal first answer would be of his copyrighted things. So, you know, he go gets a car. When he go get a car, they're talking about like you need a down payment, and then he's like, and you feel me? The first thing he wants to say is, who made these cars? And then, you know, because, you know, that's if you're doing business with somebody, you're not going to want just to get any car. You feel me? So he just want to say who made these cars, but people are seeing he's glowing with the copyrights to every goddamn thing. Hold on. Alright, so he sees he's glowing with the copyrights to every goddamn thing. So when he says, who makes this car, everybody in the background trying to make it look like he has an attitude because other people that had that power would be whack as shit, you feel me, and be like, wait a minute. When I walked in here, I should have had a car ready, you feel me, on some lame shit. So, you know, he just really like, well, who made the cars? And then the guy was like, what? And it's just like, no, it wasn't a, you feel me? It was just a real ass question. What you mean? What? What's the first thing someone that wants to get a car will ask? And he's like, oh, well, you know, we get this off the dock. You get this off. Do y'all know the makers of the car? And they're, no, not really. I'm like, well, can I speak to somebody in here that knows the makers? And once again, part of the world is you can ask someone to fight in another Tesseract, you feel me? Authority will plan it, you feel me? But and he has to say so to do it when he wants. So they trying to sneakily ask his aura. They like, let me ask this side. Let's fight right now for your body. And it's just like he's not trying to, you feel me? He just threatened them. So he put him in a Tesseract, sliced and diced his ass, put him back together, and it was like, yeah. So, and then you feel me, just fades out, and the guy's like, what the fuck? And he's like, well, yeah, you want the fight? You feel me? And he's just like, but no, can I speak to someone higher? You feel me? And now this person go gets the person because, you feel me, that's what bosses do. That's what mob people do. And the dude start telling the dude he gonna slice and dice you, and the guy's like, I know you're not about to slice and dice, and then the guy trying to make it look like he's bucking at him for saying that, and it's just like, well, he start telling, okay, that means you respect that he's a high rank, and he's like, yeah, I just wanted to know who made these cars, and then he heard the whole background say he has an attitude with a car not pulling up to where he at because he has all authority of cars. And the first ancestor is just like, and he's like, no, I get it. And he was like, yeah, we get this off the dock. You feel me? And he was like, the dock? You're like, yeah, you want to see a car? And then he shows him a car, and you feel me? The last guy was just talking about a down payment, but he shows him a car. And he's like, you like this car? You feel me? Like, yeah, you know what? That was real what you did, you feel me? No one comes in here and asks who makes these cars, you feel me? So now we have a platform to know, like, we give great customer service. You feel me? On me, you can have this car. You feel me? And that was the whole conversation about let a nigga come in and try you, I'll kill him. But, you know, they didn't listen to none of that. But the first ancestor was like, thank you, because you feel me? I appreciate that. Like, and he's saying in slang, like, because I'm ancient as shit, you feel me? And I wasn't trying to blurt that shit out like that. So he gives him a car. And, you know, he was like, you know what all you need? And he was like, he's like, exactly. And then he leaves with the car, and then out of nowhere, he gets stopped on the road after years of driving his car, and the guy's like, and you know, the guy asks him to fight again, you feel me? Another guy, so he puts him in the Tesseract, slice and dices his ass, and that's one thing in uniform. If you're in because that's how we teach you in the police department, we put you in a Tesseract, give you hospitality, or we citizen arrest you. You feel me? So they teach them, if you get in a Tesseract, get your ass whooped, and no one comes to your rescue, you need to skidoo out. So you know, dude came with the policy car. Opened the door, went to grab the gun, got sliced and diced from the car, and then said fuck the gun because he couldn't stop getting sliced and diced trying to get the gun. And he was like, I got my taser on me though, and then got sliced and diced right there, and then walked up to the car still because he said he's not trying to fight, and he was like, how you doing? And he was like, hey, and he was like, do you know why I pulled you over? And then he said, no. You wanted to fight? And he was like, what? And then it was like, you're threatening me. And he was like, how am I threatening you? I'm like, well, you're yelling at me. And then it pauses for a moment because the dude's scared to get in another Tesseract fight. And then he's like, let me see your registration. And then he's like, registration? And he was like, I own this car. He was like, where's the proof? Where's the proof it's stolen? And then that's when the chief, Heatwave, comes in to tell him to get the fuck away from his car, or you're saying you want to fight me. But the first ancestors saw the chief was about to get in a fight with something he just fought the person for threatening. And so he go on a high speed race, goes back, and then he drops the car off in oblivion, and then starts walking, and then goes into a detention center. And they like, I don't know where the car went, and then everybody's staring at him like, and like, so what you arrest him for? He's speeding, but you don't know where the car went. And then so then they send him to the office, and the first ancestor came in because he wanted to talk to the chief that was going to have to fight that dude. So the first ancestor goes in there, starts talking to him, and then they start saying, well, we got a lot. And then the ancestor just... Because he starts to notice the simple math of going inside of a realm slows down the speed of doing something in oblivion. So so every time they talk about like stuff that they know from the teaching they got from, you feel me? Because this is like what the infinite ancestor ends. So we talking about the first ancestor just got them showing up. You feel me? Like that'll be. I gotta make that shit work. That shit, I can do that shit for real. So yeah, the first ancestor got them. So that first ancestor just goes inside a goddamn detention room. You feel me? And is you feel me, doing gladiator work inside of there. And, he's in there with no charges. They keep talking to the guy. The chief keep about to get him, and the first ancestor get him. Then the chief about to get him again. The first ancestor get him. And he's still talking like, God, man. Like, because the chief told him how this works. You feel me? So they just keep doing to it. Locks up that's the first ancestor. Then they bring him in, and they talk to him. And they give him this silent vibe because everybody that got sliced and diced from him knows he's the first ancestor. And it's invertedly the truth too, vice versa, because they're not getting sliced and diced by the first ancestor. So, you feel me? They want to talk about like, hey, we learned from you. You like, oh, hey, I want you to meet my ancestor, and stuff like that. But it's people still following, so it's work to be done. But the first ancestor works on silent communication. So when it echoed very loud in silence, that he just wanted to be looked as like as a chief, like the chief, to get the chief off work, because he knows that work is like tiring. They was like, oh, okay, and they let him go. And they was like, how you gonna get home? And then his car showed up out of nowhere, and he was like, he waved, and they was like, whoa. And he ain't even driving no Rari. And, you know, so then the next scene is the first ancestor really never even gets a house. He usually just chills in oblivion, then goes outside. So, you know, he has a car, you feel me? He puts it in oblivion, you feel me? He usually just steered his oblivion, but, you know, now he has a car that he can bring in every, you feel me, realm with no problem. So he's like, and he already made like cars like that, blueprints of cars as his imagination, and just be floating in his car, in his blueprints. So when he saw, you feel me, and it's just like, I didn't even goddamn blueprint in a car because I didn't even have, what the fuck I look like riding around in oblivion. You feel me? So then the first ancestor goddamn starts going to different realms, and everybody already knew he's coming in to get houses and shit like that. So everybody, you feel me, from where they already knew he was first ancestor, he could goad out his teeth the second he come to the realm to where the world kept relapsing, that him dropping the tooth was him saying, y'all don't respect people in their mouth. And then it got known as the wisdom tooth all the way to baby teeth. Yeah, again, when he went to that realm, and you feel me, just riding around in his whip, and you know, he's being authority, you feel me? He can't find nowhere to stop because everywhere needs him to be authority instead of it be his home. So he keeps riding around in his whip, being authority and authority and authority. And you feel me? People's like, you can come to my house anytime, but they just want to act cool with authority. And then he finally gets to a space where it's like a playground where, you know, kids know ancestors, and they've been waiting to meet like the 20th ancestor, but the 20th ancestor is busy. You feel me? But if you feel me, on this realm, but if you go to another realm, you can visit the 20th to the, you feel me, second, but the first never really showed themselves. So, you know, they always look at the second as the first because, you know, when the second ancestor was melanated, it was like the second ancestor never went and took credit for knowing that they could kind of sense the first ancestor. And you feel me? This movie will be fine. And then, so he drops in a spot where the 20th ancestor is working, and it's like, they not even asking me to do they work. Let me get their ass out they work. So yeah, so you know, now the 20th ancestor is kind of puzzled because it's like he's looking at his goddamn self, and he's like, because you feel me, we talking about infinite ancestors, but you could tell the glow is older, and he's seen majority of all ancestors, so he's trying to keep his work going and never retire. And you know, the joke of this movie is, you know those parts in movies where it'd be like someone that is giving hospitality to somebody and they look rude, but but the person that's getting the hospitality knows that they just got a lot of clout of being called rude for being OCD and having a stature. So, you know, that's the joke. You feel me? Every time they about to get called rude, the 20th ancestor got them pull up and be like, I'm about to be rude to your ass. and you feel me? Then the person has to take it, and he's like, wait a minute. And you feel me? This stops the 20th ancestor for doing stuff, because when he's like, wait a minute, people like rude and shit like that. And it's like rude. You feel me? So then that's how the first ancestor start running into the 20th, 19th, 18th, 17th, 60th, 50th, to the second. And because all he was doing was going visiting people that respected that type of conglomerate, you feel me? Because like I said, the first ancestor just did everything before everybody, so wanted to copyright it so people can grow and just know they protected. So, you know, after got to the second ancestor is just like, God damn, and shit like that. And he starts showing people, the second ancestor starts showing people like, look at these people I know. You feel me? I know all the people in the world, just like you do. You just haven't showed your face because you wanted me to be able to say hey to them. So yeah, and shit like that. And so then, you know, they riding around in this first ancestor's car and shit. They're like, let me take my car and shit like that. Because, you know, all the way to the second ancestor and infinite, everybody knows, you feel me, how to move around regular. The only thing about the first ancestor, he has this empty canvas. Like, he don't know how to move around regular, but everybody's like, but you taught me. So, you know, that's how you know people is falling and hating. And then, you feel me? Police work, like I said. You feel me? Jamaica, etc. And, you feel me? In the end, the first ancestor really started just living in other people's houses, but didn't like it because in the end, he don't have a house they can go to, and they like, mi casa, su casa, and they like, but you know, what happens when, you feel me, I need a house that I can go to for y'all, and you know, they like, you blueprinted everything, and he's like, I know, you feel me. And then the first ancestor comes just driving around and finds some new land and just builds a whole goddamn crib. You feel me? Whole goddamn landfill. You feel me? And then, you feel me, gave it to the second ancestor because the second ancestor loved it so much. And then the first ancestor ended up with no crib again. So then, you feel me, the movie really ends, you feel me, just spoiler alert, he gets a goddamn crib. He's the first ancestor. Everybody knows he's the first ancestor. Everybody's ready to jump, but the first ancestor came and caught everybody's jump. So everybody that can't goddamn do anything is just talking shit while they getting their ass dealt with. And the first ancestor is like, sooner or later, you feel me, they won't have nothing to say or do. And you feel me, that first ancestor has just been moving like that. And it's like, I can always go to the whole land I made and gave to my second ancestor. I mean, my descendant, you feel me? And yeah, you feel me? That would be a dope ass movie. And another part in the movie, you feel me? Because in the beginning of the movie has to start with knowing that the first ancestor wanted to be the one to save everybody. So wanting to be the one that saved everybody, you feel me? Green Goblin story, you feel me? All of that. He got lost in oblivion, but getting lost in oblivion gave him the space to know that you can make your mind oblivion. So he was able to grab oblivion in his mind and correlate how to, you feel me, do metaphysics. And you feel me, he felt the world coming about, and instead of going in the world when it came about in oblivion of, you feel me, because that made him a glitch. So that's where the word natural comes from, you feel me, organic comes from, and that's where they give him, you feel me, the first ancestor respect, because it was a glitch of him getting lost in oblivion, which made the world correlate in equations and circumstances and climaxes and, you feel me, weather and what that nigga died for. So I'm not saying the word. And it's moment of silence. So yeah, and yeah, so you know, then after he didn't thought about all the things he would do if he fought himself, he didn't like finish the world on 100% and started noticing the more that, because if he didn't did oblivion in his head first and then went to oblivion, then he could have been chilling in oblivion. Then oblivion would have been a newborn type, and then he would have noticed that he can flashpoint like things that's coming about. But since he went into oblivion and then noticed his mind could be on par with oblivion, it caused a glitch of land being about. And you feel me, he started doing metaphysics of making land be there for people. And boy, this nigga don't shut the fuck up and just sing. Like, shut the fuck up. That shit is weird as fuck, bro. I wanna be that person. Bitch, if I'm speaking in third person, you cannot be me. Like, what the fuck? So, like I am saying. Yeah. So then, you from the beginning of the movies, and just because the ancestor never left oblivion, they saying him touching down, he can't claim none of the artifacts. And you feel like, well, that just makes him part of the military, because, you know, now he's a one-man army that can do what he want. You feel me? In my mind, that's what, you feel me, because he said it just now, that's what makes him stupid ass nigga. So yeah. And then after he gets to the point of coming down after the time continuum of the glitch caused many descendants to be able to land before he land, and him to be in the sky like God, off of the name God. The first ancestor comes down, you feel me, and just visits when the world is super safe. And you feel me, the glow is just in the atmosphere, like the glow was in the atmosphere before he came down. And yeah. So, you know, that's how the beginning of the movie start. The beginning of the movie start about showing like clips of ancient teaching, you feel me? And then showing how like the late descendants know of the first ancestor, and the other ancestors know of the first ancestor through the late descendants. And you feel me? And that's how people, that's where the word sleep came about, because the descendants look just like the second to what descendant they are. And that's why he was chilling with them. And you know, because they look just like the descendants. I mean, they look just like the descendants look just like the ancestors. And he could tell them, like, hey, I had that look, you feel me, and stuff like. And the descendants knew that they was gonna see, you feel me, and they looking like, who did you see, you feel me, and they just happy because they know sooner or later it's gonna pop up on them the same way, and they've been making their own mathematic time to that. And you feel me, it just keeps reclipsing, and the first ancestor showing up like Santa Claus, and and after it reclips to a certain part, and he sees that it's time for him to come into like the space that chronologically webs and ebbs to what I'm talking about. Then you know, he shows up and goes through that whole spiel I just said, because you know, the descendants had to go through that same thing, but the difference was the descendants got down with slashing and gashing because they was following the first ancestor, slicing and dicing, you feel me? So they was playing a video game of catch the ancestor, you feel me? So, you know, like I said, the ancestor was in oblivion in the time continuum, going out of frequency, and, you know, things was trying to slow down him and be a void to absorb him, and he would slice them, and descendants was popping up and was like, and then we would grab the shit, you feel me, but try to be quiet, you feel me? And that's when the ancestors started getting like cell phone calls from the slice and dice to know, okay, this is a safe spot to come, all the way to, like I said, from this point, to know that the ancestors of the descendants under him, you feel me, the ancestors of those descendants aren't chilling in the medieval land time. They chilling in the houses that could wither away if people figure out that they got down is powerful than they think. And you know, yeah, that's where the whole thing comes about, and voila, the story of the first ancestor. You feel me? That would be a fire-ass movie. You feel me? But that was a dumb-ass movie to be talking about a soap opera. Oh, no one knows the ancient teaching. No one gets this. You have to leave just like the people that died by the first ancestor. But I'm one of the descendants. So, you know, I played that game of catching the slicing and dicing. So, well, we just waiting for the slicing and dicing to get to you, okay? Okay? Right? You feel me? And that'll be a fine movie. So yeah, like that shit would be fine. You feel me? That's just the part where the ancestor is like in the dark room, but is webbing and ebbing. You feel me? And you just see him. You know how we see like Iron Man or Spider-Man and the pages flip. We just see like the oblivion in his mind articulating that he came up with all the ideas first and just copyrighted it, because the first ancestor never had an idea of nothing but saving the world. You feel me? Nothing but protecting it. You feel me? So, you know, getting lost in oblivion was a goddamn compliment, because now he can keen his senses, and if something follows in oblivion, then, you know, he knows when to attack or give it its own space and womb. So we watch the ancestor just moving fast in oblivion, and it's not because then you can be in oblivion and then time. So it's just like he's going on the oblivion and then going on a fast frequency that he then aged himself at the same time, sipping from the fountain of youth, and you feel me? Got all the architects before anybody else could think of creating anything, so it makes him the first creator, and knowing that other people would think of creating, so just copyrighted it out of safety. And then, you know, starts visiting the late descendants, you feel me? Because, you know, other ancestors kind of was doing the same thing, but you feel me, on, like I said, the world not being goddamn castle up, the descendants following where the castles are, because you know they you feel me, like I said the ancestor come to a whole lock of the humidity when he was just in humidity where he can sit freely, and that's why the descendants picked him up like, look, you can sit, you like sit. And then it gets to the point where the ancestors have to make a whole Glock on the cap and shit like that before they pour a drink and shit like that. So the ancestors is goddamn good and shit like that. And yeah. And all the way till he gets to that point, and the descendants is waiting to drop in at that point too. You feel me? And that's what the movie is really about. You feel me? Ancestors trying to drop their descendants in to live in a life of harmony. And the first ancestor came after all the ancestors after them got dropped in on a time continuum, because the objective of the first ancestors is to make sure no one got lost in oblivion. And you know, that's what also makes the first ancestor very cold, because you know people had their own thoughts of going inside their head and their womb of oblivion, but you know, he got lost in the space of oblivion and turned it into a whole ship. You feel me? Nah, that would be a cold movie. Yeah. So you know, like I said, like all the teaching, they trying to tell the first ancestor thing, and the first ancestor is just walking around articulating everything out of leadership. He's not trying to say, that's not the right way to do. He's just like, where's the leadership? You feel me? He's not trying to say, I copyrighted this, you can't tell me it ain't right. You feel me? On some lame ass shit where people think that's how people would act. And, you know, and yeah, all the way to the second ancestor and him having a whip and then finding somewhere to stay. Yeah, you feel me? And that, I feel like that will give people a little, that will make like a sign, since people are saying there's not a sign out for the goddamn first ancestor with they bitch asses.